Steel River is located in northern Ontario, just north of Lake Superior. This rarely paddled canoe route would take us from Santoy Lake up Diablo Portage, a 1 kilometer long portage, ascending 350 meters to Diablo Lake. Portaging into Cairngorm Lake to Steel Lake, and then turning south down the Steel River. This river is free-flowing with the steep canyons and rugged bedrock terrain, flowing into a 20-meter waterfall, Rainbow Falls, and meandering down through several large log jams, back into Santoy Lake. This is our experience.
That's how you make a coffee out in the woods, boys.
Good morning, everyone. Today's the morning of day 7 on the Steel River Loop, and we are about to hit a bunch of log jams according to other Matt. He says they're all right around the corner from this little sand beach we're sleeping on. This is the first log jam that we're going around, and it looks like zero fun right now. Oh my god. And I'm really walking through the bush and cannot see my feet. Log jam number 2.
So there might be a trail.
Oh!
Oh, sure. Number 2, baby.
Damn, these logs are jammed.
Reminds me of the 401.
Ha ha ha. Currently portaging around the second log jam. It's pretty difficult and there's not much of a trail, but it's pretty bushcraft if you ask me. If anyone thought these log jams were fake, they're very real. Fun fact, log jam portage number 2 goes straight into log jam portage number 3 from this log jam right here. What fun. We're done 3 out of 3 log jams so far, and that was absolutely brutal. Zero fun, tough to find the trail, rough trail, in and out of the sandbanks and steep ledges and stuff, and we're just gonna keep on going here. Another day, another cliff bar. Some very clear signs of wolf prints right here.
Yeah. Stick together, team. Yeah.
Tuning into the log jam report, log jam number 4, just before 11 o'clock this morning. And this one's pretty long and has a fairly well marked portage actually, so not too bad right now. All these logs and the price of lumber these days, my gosh. This is ridiculous. Heard about a double barrel shotgun, but what about a double barrel cam? Cruising along out here with my navigation experts in the back and steering experts, and they're doing a pretty decent job while I eat all the snacks. We potentially might be passing the injuncture from Larry's Lake. Some sort of animal carcass on the beach right there. Maybe a moose. Some sort of large mammal. scampered up what should be the last log jam of the day, and it was a tough one. Extremely muddy, unpleasant, wouldn't recommend. But Santoy I would recommend. We are done the last log jam portage. The bugs were absolutely brutal on it, and we're almost getting our way to Santoy now. Feeling dehydrated, excited to be back to Santoy on a beauty day on the Steel River. On the end of day 7 of trip, we find ourselves back at Santoy Lake, and with the remaining third of our tequila rations, we are here to celebrate, justly so.
Cheers, boys. It's a great trip.
Cheers. Ding. Tonight is chickpea sweet potato curry. So there we were on the river, meandering our way down. And Duncan and I, who are in the front, see the tail end of a bald eagle just take off when we rounded a corner. And called over Matt, and Matt quieted down to see if we can go around the corner to see if the bald eagle was still there. But while we were quiet, we saw a crow picking at something with a lot of bugs buzzing around, and there's a dead moose carcass, or a moose carcass, that was kind of rotting in the water. And as we kind of moved our way away from it, there along the shores of the river were a pair of wolf tracks. So we imagine either the wolves scavenged the moose or the wolves actually killed the moose and everything else was scavenged. So never seen wolf tracks before, that was the first one. And then about 5 kilometers down river, we saw more moose tracks and another moose carcass. More wolf tracks and another moose carcass. And looks like we have some serial hunters on the loose.
Today we started from the sandbank beach that we stayed at last night on the Steel River and went all the way down to Santoy Beach. We encountered about 5 log jams, most of which had pretty challenging portages with a lot of challenging take-in and take-outs. But we made it through a pretty hot and steamy day in one piece. It was a pretty good day and an enjoyable one to almost finish it up here.
So there's nothing quite like starting a trip with a pretty stiff headwind heading towards one of the hardest portages you think you've ever done in your life. Without a doubt, one of the highlights for me was Diablo Portage, but that should surprise no one. And it has literally been downhill ever since. Climbing up that pretty steep 200, 250 meters or so right off the start, and then scrambling through a bunch of boulder fields was definitely a challenge that I relished and was looking forward to, and I'm glad we got her done. Because after that, it was a beautiful trip. A couple pretty challenging portages afterwards, but obviously nothing kind of the same level as that.
Really enjoyed the topography of the region. This is our first time in kind of like a superior shore canoe trip. We have these hills approaching mountains that line on the lakes around here, and that kind of topography isn't really frequent in Ontario.
An absolute highlight of this trip for me was just the overall scenery for sure. The rolling, super large hills, but not mountains, just made it all the more better.
Just these beautiful rolling hills, these open cliff faces, stuff that we're just not used to seeing while paddling, especially in southern Ontario. It really gave us, I don't know, something to work for.
On Cairngorm and Steel, wherever the previous forest fire was, it really showed you how different the regrowth section was with compared to the old growth that you could easily see out there.
Know why this trip is so remote. It's difficult. The portages are not easy, but with lakes like that, views like that, it makes it all worth it.
In tandem with the remoteness of where we are, has just been the sheer lack of other people that we've come across. I think this is the first time in our trips that we've gone a full week without seeing anyone. And as much as that sounds a little weird to say, it is kind of nice to be out there, knowing that you're kind of on your own, you have your own space to figure stuff out.
We've been more successful in amount and types of fish caught, fish species, than in prior trips. That's kind of cool, the fact that we're getting actually a good number of calories from the land that we travel on in a sustainable and effective way. I've really been enjoying that.
The easiest top highlight for me was catching a blue walleye after Cam had caught multiple fish. So that was pretty big.
I caught my first brook trout, I caught my first blue walleye, and I caught 2 simultaneous PR pikes one day after the next. So, you know, how can I not like that fishing result?
Felt like a big learning opportunity in terms of reading whitewater, practicing whitewater, and navigating it. Despite, you know, falling out of the boat just once, almost twice. I think it's also really important to give a shout out to the Bigtagon Anishinaabe peoples who have marked almost every portage that we've used on this trail around the Steel River Loop. Seemingly they've maintained every portage from the Diablo climb, which is itself pretty treacherous, but many of the backcountry portages as well that connect the lakes that we relied on to make this trip possible. I can't understate enough how valuable that is, just to know that someone else has been out here, has made use of the same trails, has kept them in good shape and kept them clear, so that guys like us who have never been here before can make their way.
Morning everyone, day 8 here. Last night I tried to take some star photos and I think they turned out pretty okay, but 5:30 for day 8 right now and we're gonna get going across Santoy Lake.
I hate sand. It gets everywhere. It's coarse and grainy. Just makes everything uncomfortable.
Last day on trip calls for a celebration of gummy bears in our oatmeal.
We're on Santoy Beach, just finishing up breakfast, enjoying a little bit of coffee, staying nice and warm before we hit the water. We have about 10 to 12 kilometers from this beach site down the entirety of the lake. The water looks very different from when we were here a week ago, but we're excited to get through this, get back to the car, probably pack that thing up as horribly as possible, strap the canoes to the top, and make a mad dash to the closest Tim Hortons because we're all craving an ice cap or an iced coffee or something like that. But in the meantime, we're enjoying a beautiful morning. Like it's hard to beat this. On a beach site like this, the bugs actually aren't too horrible close to the fire. They're insane once you step away, but that is what it is. But beautiful view right down to the bottom of the lake as we'll make our line straight down, I think. I'm looking forward to wrapping this one up. It's been a great one. Thanks for following along.
Let's get her done.
There's Diablo right there.